Welcome to Biography Central. You are listening to Life of Sri Ramakrishna, a complete biography. Chapter 35, Exit of Hriday, Harish and Bhavanath. We shall now pause for a while to turn our attention to an event that happened in the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar in the middle of the year 1881. It was the dismissal of Hriday. A change had come of late in his attitude towards the master. He had grown avaricious by degrees. Visitors courted his favor in order to procure interviews with Sri Ramakrishna, with presents according to their means. The master tried to dissuade him from accepting these gratuities and forbade the visitors to offer them. This, combined with the master's rejection of Lakshmi Narayan's offer of 10,000 rupees, irritated Hriday. The greed for money banished from his heart his old love for his uncle, and he publicly taunted the latter in the most offensive terms. In consideration of his past services, the master bore with this insolent behavior, though at times it drew bitter tears to his eyes. Instead of trying to develop sterling qualities similar to his uncle's, Hriday imitated his outward gestures and singing and dancing before the devotees, posed as another Paramahansa Deva. He extorted presents from the visitors, and at the same time tried to impose his own will upon Sri Ramakrishna at every step, making himself a positive nuisance at the temple. Once Sri Ramakrishna was laid up with fever when some of his devotees came to see him and presented him with a cauliflower. Sri Ramakrishna expressed great satisfaction but said, "Please hide it and don't speak to Hriday about it, or he will abuse me." Then he began to praise Hriday's faithful services in the past and said, "Mother has amply recompensed him since he has served me so faithfully. He has purchased lands, he lends out money to people, and is a most influential figure in this temple, where he is highly honored." Scarcely had he finished these words when Hriday entered the room. The master got nervous and said to him, "Look here, I never asked them to bring a cauliflower. They have brought it of their own accord. Believe me, I never told them to bring it." But Hriday flew into a rage and reprimanded him severely. Sri Ramakrishna appealed to the Divine Mother weeping, "O Mother, thou hast removed all my worldly ties. Thou hast freed me from all bondage. But thou didst keep this humiliation in store for me at the hands of Hriday." Suddenly his melancholy mood changed. He added, smiling, "He loves me dearly and therefore scolds me. He is a mere boy and knows not what he does. Thou must not be angry with him, Mother." With this he entered into samadhi. Hriday's conduct gradually became unbearable. He insulted everybody who came in contact with him. Even the other employees of the Kali temple were attacked. He paid no heed to the repeated warnings of Sri Ramakrishna. But at last, the time for retribution came. The anniversary of the foundation day was celebrated in the temple with a festival. In the year of which we are speaking, Trilokanath, the son of Mathur, attended this festival with his wife and children. Trilokanath's 8-year-old daughter was present in the temple when Hriday was worshipping the goddess Kali. Hriday was seized with a desire to worship the mother and the girl, and according to the Tantrika rites, offered flowers and sandal paste at her feet. When the girl returned home, her mother noticed on her feet the marks of sandal paste. Upon inquiry, she learned all that had happened from the girl and was alarmed. A Brahmin worshipping the feet of a Sudra girl. It could not but bring a calamity upon the girl, she thought. Her fears worked upon Trilokanath, who ordered Hriday to leave the temple premises at once. Hriday told everything to his uncle. The master asked, "Why did you act like that? Now what will you do?" Nothing daunted, Hriday answered, "Why do you worry about it, uncle? You come with me. You ought not to stay here anymore. Some day they will insult you also." "Why should I go?" said the master. "I am not leaving." Hriday left the garden with a heavy heart. Shortly after, someone came and told Sri Ramakrishna that he too must leave the garden. Without a murmur, the master rose and walked towards the gate. Trilokya saw him from a distance and hurrying up to him said, "Sir, where are you going?" The master quietly replied, "Didn't you order me to leave the garden?" Trilokya implored him to come back and said, "Kindly pray to the mother that the girl may not be injured. Through the mother's grace, she will be all right," said the master, and returned to his room, as if nothing had happened. Referring to Hriday's expulsion, Sri Ramakrishna said later on, his high-handed conduct gradually became intolerable, and the mother removed him as his presence was hampering her work. The exit of Hriday made it easy for the young devotees of Sri Ramakrishna to wait on him and to avail themselves of the rare opportunity of molding their lives under his direct guidance. Hriday took up his residence at the adjacent garden house of Jadu Malik. Sri Ramakrishna used to send his meals to him and also went to see him. Hriday requested him again to leave and proposed that he establish a Kali temple elsewhere, where they might live happily together. At this, the master is said to have remarked, "Well, do you mean to hawk me from door to door like a curio?" 3 years after the above incident, the master was talking to a number of devotees when he was informed that Hriday was waiting to interview him at the gate of Jadu Malik's garden. Sri Ramakrishna, who never forgot his devoted servant, asked the audience to wait and went out to see him. Just beyond Rani Rasmani's garden, he found Hriday standing with folded hands. As soon as he saw the master, Hriday fell flat on the ground. Sri Ramakrishna told him to get up. Hriday wept like a boy. The master also was moved to tears. With his hand, he wiped them away so as to hide his emotion. It was a most touching sight. Sri Ramakrishna, "Well, what makes you leave your home and come here?" Hriday, "Weeping I have come to see you. To whom else shall I tell my troubles?" Sri Ramakrishna, to console him, smiling, "The world is full of troubles. One cannot avoid them. What is yours?" Hriday, "Weeping I am deprived of your company, and that's what is troubling me." Sri Ramakrishna, "Why, it was you who said, 'Let each of us walk in his own path.'" Hriday, "So I did, but I was a fool." Sri Ramakrishna, "All right, goodbye now. I shall talk with you at leisure some other day. It is Sunday, and many visitors are waiting. What is the condition of the crops this year over there?" Hriday, "Fairly good." Sri Ramakrishna, "All right, come another day." Hriday prostrated himself again before the master. Sri Ramakrishna returned to the temple, talking with the devotees about Hriday's faithful services as well as the torments to which he had been subjected by him. One of the first devotees to live with the master after Hriday's departure was Harish. He was a young man in affluent circumstances with a wife and child. After paying a few visits to the master, he sickened of the world and resolved to spend his days at Dakshineshwar, renouncing home and family. Sri Ramakrishna was pleased with his sincerity, singleness of purpose, and quiet nature, and gave him shelter. Thereafter, Harish lived mostly at Dakshineshwar, looking after the comforts of the master and devoting his leisure hours to prayer and meditation. He bore calmly the threats and entreaties of his relatives. Indifferent to all the temptations of the world, he pursued silently and resolutely his own course towards the realization of the great end to which he had set himself. Referring to his unperturbed peace of mind, the master used to say, "Real men are dead to the world even while living." Look at Harish. One day, Harish learnt that his relatives were sorely afflicted at his leaving them, particularly his wife, who could neither eat nor sleep. He simply kept quiet to test the strength of his mind. However, Sri Ramakrishna took him aside and said, "Your wife is suffering. Why don't you go home and console her? What's the harm if you show a little kindness to the poor girl?" "Sir," replied Harish, "this is not the occasion to show kindness. If I try to be kind to her, there's a possibility of my forgetting the ideal and becoming entangled in the world. Kindly excuse me." Sri Ramakrishna was highly pleased at his answer and often spoke of his spirit of renunciation to others. Another devotee of rare qualities was Bhavanath Chatterjee, who was still in his teens when he met Sri Ramakrishna in 1881. His parents and relatives looked upon a master as insane and warned Bhavanath not to frequent Dakshineshwar. But he could not keep away from the master, and against the wishes of his guardians, he often spent the night there. He was a member of the Brahmo Samaj, and the impersonal aspect of God appealed to him strongly. Sri Ramakrishna loved him for his sincerity and devotion. Noticing his attachment to Narendranath, the master often remarked that he was a fit companion for him and advised him to make the association very close. He was one of those whom Sri Ramakrishna classed as the eternally perfect. While frequenting Dakshineshwar, Bhavanath became a vegetarian and gave up the chewing of betel, considering it helpful in the religious life. But Sri Ramakrishna, who used to lay more stress on the internal purification of the heart than on the observance of external forms, said to him with a smile, "Well, what's the use of giving up fish or betel? They do not constitute the essence of religion. The real thing is renunciation of lust and wealth." Bhavanath was married early, but he turned his face from enjoyment. One day, the master, to test his earnestness, said to him, "Why don't you enjoy the world a bit?" Bhavanath was indignant and said, "Sir, should we, too, indulge in vulgar pleasures?" The master was highly pleased with the reply. The very sight of Bhavanath's purity often roused divine emotions in Sri Ramakrishna's mind. I hope you like this chapter. We need volunteers and sponsors to create content with even better quality and with more variety. If you wish to join this initiative as a volunteer or sponsor, please click the links given in description below. To help us reach more viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Biography Central. Thank you for your time. It means a lot. Namaste.